Hairline cracking, cosmetic or structural, you may only be able to find out in frame stage of construction. Let's check it out. So some people have ran into this scenario, a lot of people have ran into this scenario where they are in a newer home, they have hairline cracking, called the builder warranty department, they come out and look at it and they say cosmetic, and that's where it ends. So we're at the frame stage of construction, there's insulation installed. If you look at these roof trusses going across here, they're either 2 or 3 point bearing. So there's one bearing point for this truss. He goes all the way across, and there's his middle bearing point right there. And then you come over here and that's his third bearing point. So that's a 3 point bearing truss. If you look at this truss up here, hold on. This is its middle bearing point, right? So it's supposed to be sitting on that wall, but if you look, see the gap there? So it's not actually touching that wall. So the question is it a bearing point? So, you know, we can't just throw our opinion in there. We got to go look at the truss engineering. So let's do that. So step one, we need to figure out what truss it is. So if you look at that label right there, nice little yellow label, A5V. So let's go find the truss engineering for A5. Here we are, the truss engineering book. We have the truss engineering for A5V. If you look closely at this truss, we got one bearing point. There's your middle bearing point, and there's the other bearing point. So in this middle bearing point, if you look closely, it's labeled U. So we go down to our loads here. We have the R up there is reaction load, so that's basically down load. Your U is the uplift load, so that's what's holding it down. That's what size strap it's supposed to have to hold the truss down. But at U, that's the amount of weight that it's engineered to withstand. So that's 1,666 pounds. So that bearing point does need... it needs contact. It's got to sit on that bearing wall. So once again, middle bearing point, we see it right there. And then our engineered loads for bearing point U are right there. So let's go look at that truss. Again, we're right over a header opening here. There's a nice load on here. There's, 1,000, over 1,000 pounds of download. So what's happening with that? I think the only thing that's really carrying that load is that strap, which is there for uplift. But if there is that much weight pushing down here, or engineered to be that much weight, is it eventually going to touch because it's such a heavy load and result in interior cracking? So what's the solution for that? So let's talk about that. So a common question at installation phase after everybody has signed off on it is how does the building inspector miss something like that or something like this? Bent strap, totally not acceptable. You want to see some solutions for this? I'll give you that next. But listen, just because an inspector signs off on a frame stage of construction or any stage of construction does not mean it's right. We didn't do the work. So ultimately, issues like this come up all the time, whether somebody's looked at it and signed off on it or not. The question is the hairline cracking in your home structural or cosmetic? You can't answer that unless you look at it in frame stage or remove the drywall to answer the question. So let's jump up there and I'll have a look at this this issue one more time with you guys and give you some structural solutions for repair. All right, so looking at the other side, that truss is held up with that strap, but there's a gap there. There's a shimming that has to happen here. So there's different, you can use a wood shim to stick between the truss and the bearing point. Composite shims, there's different things that they use that are acceptable. But this truss is going to be painted up green with my paint, and I'm going to ask for it to be shimmed. That way the load from this middle bearing point gets transferred to that header opening. So if you like these videos, share, like, follow, and thanks for watching. Steve Graff, Construction Defect Videos.